Hey everybody, I hope you're ready to find out the results of whether or not it's better to mulch or bag your leaves or clippings in the fall. Today we have updated proof, so stay tuned. Okay everybody, this is Mike with Jealous Lawn Care. So if you haven't checked out the part 1 to figure out what I'm trying to do, why I'm trying to prove this theory about whether it's better in the fall to mulch or bag your clippings or leaves, check back in the video. I'll post a link down below in the description, so make sure you check that out. So for those of you who are ready for the update, and this is a completely unbiased test, here are the results. Will I have green stripes in my backyard? Will they be dark stripes? Will there be any stripes at all? Here we go. Here's our stakes from several months ago, from the fall. I don't see any stripes. So again, the rest of my lawn, I didn't do anything to this entire year yet. I just started mowing over there, but you can see that I don't see any difference in greenness. So again, I'll start on the left side like I always do. Between these two stakes, this is where I had extreme case example of how much leaves you would ever possibly mow, you know, more than most people would ever mow in one session, because I had to go through it twice. And all that natural fertilizer, we'll call it, didn't do a thing apparently. Didn't make it green up earlier like a lot of people say it is. And again, between here and here, between the blue stick and the white stick here, this was the normal case example of how much leaves most people will cut in an annual, let's say, fall session. All right, so just to prove that it is the right time of year for your grass to be greening up, it is the end of March here in Chicago, and you can tell that this spot right here, see how this, most of my grass is still pretty dormant, but you can tell that I'm right on the border, so the grass already did reach above 40 degrees. I've already done my test, but also here's your proof. Especially looking from this angle, you could tell a lot. See this area over here, close to my vinyl siding? This whole section is already greened up. So this goes along with my proving myself right, apparently, that the vinyl siding creates a lot of heat. And the reason it creates a lot of heat is because of the fact that, you know, the corners in vinyl siding, the sun beats in here, and then this whole thing becomes like a sauna, we'll say. Same thing with this corner here. So don't really have any issues on the other sides of the vinyl siding, but it is apparent all the way through, but definitely more evident in this corner that I've seeded and done stuff in the past where it has worked, but then once you stop watering it, again, I don't want to go through all that. That's a separate video. I'll do it below. So I'll also post a 2017 walkthrough below with, you know, examples of what I did and how it worked and what I'm going to do about that. You could definitely tell that this grass is green here, so it has greened up already for the year, but this has not. So if the theories are right, this should have greened up one of these spots. There's no fertilizer done. There's no cutting of the lawn yet, and I don't see any stripes from fertilizer in the fall. Fertilizer, of course, I'm talking about mulching the leaves, because of course that acts as a natural fertilizer. But it does not, according to this test, it does not appear that your grass will green up quicker in the spring if you mulch your clippings or leaves in the fall. So I'd be very curious to know what you guys think about this test. So make sure you post something in the comments below, maybe something that I could have done better in this test, something maybe I didn't do enough of. So I've done several tests, as you guys have seen already in this video, or you probably skipped over it, so feel free to back up over those. So the reason I wanted to show all that stuff and not just show you the results right away, I wanted to show you guys my whole process along the way. And the reason I did that is so you guys can know what I did, and you guys can make it a verdict whether or not I did a good test or not, or what I missed, what I could have done better. And you can tell that none of my neighbors have really greened up either yet. So this neighbor just got a core aeration and dethatching done on Saturday. Today's Monday. So that's looking a little better than it was. so they're definitely stepping up their game. So you got to stay ahead of your competition. So they did that in the springtime usually. Almost every year they do that. This is the first time I've seen them do dethatching. To be honest, I do my dethatching manually in the fall time. I don't do the backyard just because I'm lazy. So I do the front yard. It's a good workout, and it doesn't hurt. A lot of people will say that, hey, you don't need to dethatch ever if you core aerate, which I aerate every fall regardless, religiously. But I also like to dethatch in the fall time also, because even if you don't really need to get rid of that full thatch layer, I like it. It lets me because I do the dethatch, then I do the aeration. It makes me think that we'll say the knives and the tines will go down deeper. If you doesn't have to go through that dethatch layer. And also in the fall time when I do my core aeration, I'm doing the seeding. I'm also doing starter fertilizer. So all those types of things I'm doing. And I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff in the fall, so I want to make sure that there's no thatch, or the thatch isn't too great, that I want everything to be going right down into the lawn, or even better yet, into those aeration holes. But of course that's not always the case, but that's the goal, right? That's the goal. So I hope you guys have liked this test that I've proven. So I'm going to be doing a few more tests, so make sure you stay tuned. I have a few more tests planned this year, and you don't want to miss them, all right? Stay tuned for more. Looks like a lot of it fell, all in a matter of this just happened last night. So, time to rake them up and mow it again in the backyard for our test. All right, here we are for round 2 of the leaf mulch test. All right. Here's the after effect of round number 2. Again, this side will be your extreme example of more leaves than most people ever see on their lawn. And this side will be the more realistic view. You can see a clear differentiation. And again, the side with the heavy leaves, I had to go over a good twice, and to be honest, there's still a little bit of clippings left over that I can see, so it didn't get mulched up too fine. So, but again, we're not arguing the fact that whether you mulch your leaves or bag them or not, we're not arguing the fact of looks. So looks aside, this is all about, will it green the grass better in the springtime. All right, stay tuned. First snowfall here in Chicago. Looks so nice. And you can see I still got my stakes in the ground for my mulch theory test. And it's about time I get rid of my bird feeders, I guess, for the year. I don't think the birds are really coming in this snow. And this tree there still has all its leaves. Crazy. Just waiting for trouble. Today is very early, so I will not be going outside yet. But just wanted to show they are working on my roof now, as you can hear. You can hear all that banging. And I'm hoping that all the stuff that they left on the grass will not kill the grass. Hopefully they move it off pretty quickly, because it's borderline frost right now, and you don't want anything heavy on your lawn for a long period of time, because that'll kill it. Alright, if they do, then I guess I'll be doing a front yard emergency, we'll call it emergency makeover session. Alright, and which will be very hard, because that'll be, it's fall right now, very much the end of fall already. And obviously it's not like I'm going to be able to grow grass, so hopefully I don't have a big eyesore from now until springtime when I can seed again. We shall see. Alright, here's round number 3 of the leaf mulch test. Alright, here's our last round from up above. Much less on this side, much more on the other side. Pretty consistent all the way through. And to be honest, I probably could do one more clippings with these leaves because these leaves haven't fallen yet. So, but to be honest, I really don't think that this, I need a fourth time. This will be easily enough to test our theories. And there you have it. Next up, we wait till spring, see how it is. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. It is the end of February, and you can see my stakes are still on the ground from my leaf mulch test. And as of right now, I do not see any difference in any of the grass. No striping yet. To be continued. All right, it is the end of November here in Chicago, and I figured I haven't done a walkthrough in a while, so I will do one now. I like to do this every now and then just in case you guys see something in my lawn that maybe you have a question on, or you just want to shout out something or see what I'm doing, if I'm doing any projects or something like that. So speaking of projects, we got our roof's all changed out, so this is the new color, a burnt sienna, so it looks good, matches the siding pretty nice. And mowed my lawn yesterday for probably the last time, or maybe the second to the last time. Next week is going to be around 58 degrees, so we're basically getting a little hot spell coming. I mean, that's pretty crazy for 50 something degrees in December. Alright, so I'm not doing any more lawn striping anymore because the grass is so short that you can barely even tell anymore. So I put that lawn striper away for the year. And then all these leaves are from one day, not even a full day yet, and all these leaves are already on the ground. But this is it's definitely mulchable, no problems there. Don't have to rake it up or bag. No reason to. Now we're gonna walk through the back. Here's my problem areas. This is one day of leaves. Gets all piled up in these corners. I hate that. So you got to be very diligent about picking all those leaves up in the corners. Otherwise that will kill the grass. You can see down here, you can tell this darker green here, and it pretty much goes all the way through. It's the darkest here for some reason. But basically I seeded this whole section, probably this much all the way here, because I failed to do that a couple years back, and I had to reseed it because all the grass was dead. Basically there was leaves piling up like you see in the corner here, and this happened, and it frosted and snowed. I mean, we had like a foot of snow in one day, so there's nothing really you can do about that, to be honest. So just bad timing. Not too much going on here. This tree, even though it is the last day in November, this tree still has all its leaves. You would not believe it. So it's a different type of tree versus all the other types of trees like that one. Pretty much all these all along there, no leaves anymore. So all my neighbors' trees, all dead also for the year, or dormant I should say, not dead. And you can tell I got my big bag of leaves here that I am ready to pour onto the ground for my third installment, our third session of mulch mowing and testing the theory out. All right, so everything's looking pretty good back here. Don't have any issues anymore back here. This is that corner that I'm still not sure what I want to do with. I ripped it out last year and dug up all the grass, because this is where all the leaves pile up the most. Even more than the other side, the leaves pile up here the most. So I said, hey, I'm not going to try and fight with that year after year after year. Plus we also wanted to grow strawberries or vegetables in there. So I just kind of let this go this year because we didn't do that. We did strawberries early, had those, and then we just kind of let it go. So next couple years, one of my projects is going to be doing concrete or bigger patio stones. So get rid of this little layer here, and also rip up all these because they're not level anymore. Some of them are cracked and broken, and also just get rid of this section too. So this is all going to be paved hopefully soon. And then in this corner also. I mentioned it if you watched my yard walkthrough video, so if you haven't checked that out, that's great to watch. There's a lot of things just like this, so this is probably going to be done next year. I'm just going to basically put some type of plant here, maybe like hydrangeas or something like that, that basically grow in the middle of the summertime. So this area gets very, very hot all year round in the summer. So this area right here, the grass is all dead because of the fact that I seeded it, everything went great, but the problem is, hey, this corner here, because this is all vinyl siding, this corner here creates so much heat that there's really nothing you can do about it. So when you're watering, if you're watering it daily, you know, twice a day, you know, it comes in great. You know, this is all lush and thick when I seeded. I mean, I seeded this whole section, I mean, a big section here. But once I stopped watering, it all died because of the heat. I mean, it's a good 15 degrees hotter at least, just in this little section because of these corners. And that's where the sun is during the summertime. The sun hits this spot a lot, you know, probably most of the day, just because of where I live. So definitely want to change this out because, you know, A, I want to dig the Comcast cable much lower because that's just not safe. And second of all, I don't like all this dirt. You know, I don't want to see any dirt. It should be maintained properly. And it's on my to-do list, guys, I know. So that'll all be bushes. Hopefully I'll do layers of bushes or something like that along there. And one other thing I noticed this last time I mowed is that I'm getting kind of sloppy. So if you could tell along here, you can tell right along the edge here, I'm getting kind of sloppy around the edge. And what I did was I basically had the mower, let's say my fingers are the mower wheels. So I had the mower wheels going like this. So unfortunately, the mower wheels should have been here, both on the top, and then I go along the edge and trim it, you know, with the weed whacker. But I was lazy or didn't care, whatever you want to call it, and I went with the mower like this all around. So the one mower wheel is up and the other one's low. So basically it scalped all this. I mean, sure, it's not going to die or anything, but you know, definitely doesn't look good. It's not as plush as the rest of it, so definitely want to make sure that gets corrected. I don't keep doing that. One of the things I was thinking about was, see how I've got this outline for these trees? I got that all around both sides. And what I was thinking about doing was, to avoid this in the future, I could put those pavers in there, those brick pavers along through here. You know, build it up, you know, stack them too high, and then that would look great. But we'll see if I can get to that project next year. But we will see if I can get to that project next year. I've got a few projects already planned. I got to change out a fence post, which you'll also see a video on in the future in case you guys have routed out fence post also. So you can see the bottom of this. I mean, when I move this fence back and forth, well, here it's okay, but here they've already done bracing in the past, so you can see that this is, I don't know if you could tell here how wobbly this is. You could already tell that it's leaning. So you could tell this should not give this much with just a little push. So, but I mean, this is almost 20-year-old fence, so it is what it is. You know, I've changed out, you know, all these fence posts in the back. You can see all these new posts. 1, 2, 3, you know, this whole way. Changed out all this because this blew down over this past Easter, and I changed all those out. So it's a big job, but you know, I like doing stuff myself. I'm learning new projects, so you guys will see a video on that. I'm doing a corner post later on, probably early next year. So, all right, stay tuned. So one of the things I also recommend buying is this mower. So this is what it looks like. This is great for doing the leaves, especially along like edges like this. So it'll suck this all up. You know, where you don't really want to get a rake, or you can't get a rake, or things like this where you have flowers that are all dead. Obviously, I didn't get to pulling them out yet. I'll do that in the spring probably, but sucks this up real nicely. And here it is.
When you look at the fence line, I've talked about my fence line a lot in my videos, especially in regards to leaves. So you don't want the leaves to build up over there because it will kill the grass. And a lot of people will mow it, but when it's really thick, maybe you don't want to mow it. Some people will rake that out, move it away so it's more spread out on the grass, and then mow it. And some people will actually go through with the blower and blow it away from the fence, that it's also spread out, and then chop it up with your lawnmower. I like to use this, especially when it's thick. And when I say thick, I mean this thick. Look at how thick this is. This is from one day of leaves. And obviously, you're looking at this level right here. This level used to be along the entire fence line just in one day. So it's very important, like for me, to be on top of this, daily as needed. So sometimes, of course, you can't do it, but once it snows and that layers down of leaves, kiss that grass pretty much goodbye. Right? So this is all one day of leaves. Is that ridiculous or what? So I like to go along and chop it up with this because it sucks it up and this also chops it up. So in my opinion, this is a great blower to have. And surprise, surprise, I got it's Toro. Just like my lawnmower. Apparently, I like the Toro.